Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Okay, crisscrossing the country. Let me take you to your home region. Before we move on to the discussion, the Dr. Bawumia is currently in the Volta region. There's been suggestion by some MPP people that they reduce the home region, Volta region, which is called the World Bank of the NDC, to a microfinance. Because of the numbers they are seeing, they say the Volta region is welcoming them well. They like what they are hearing, and they will do far, far better than 20% is what Mr. Benefson was citing today.
Oh my goodness. People won't stop tickling themselves and laughing. We will continue to work hard. We are not complacent. The good people of the Volta region know that we have never taken them for granted. That is why we work as if it is not our stronghold. You know, Senna, that some of us are consistently on the ground with our people. As I speak to you, I am in my constituency. I have a number of engagements to be constituency executive meeting. I'll be meeting with all the ward coordinators, equipping them with all the motorbikes they need to do the work on the ground. Then in the afternoon, we have a Zongo caucus rally at the job on market. So these are very, very, consistent programs on a daily basis. We are not leaving any stone unturned. There is no inch of grass that we are not attending to. We are always with the people. As I speak to you, we have a number of activities we have lined up as a region that we are pursuing on a daily basis. You do know that our flag bearer has been here. He's taught all the constituencies. The national chairman has been here. He has taught a considerable number of constituencies. I think he said he will come back to finish the remaining few constituencies left. Our running mate, Professor Nana Jennifer Kwajiman, is scheduled to begin a Volta tour on the 2nd of November, and this will be the second round in recent months. So you can tell that this is not a constituency or a region we have forsaken. None of the constituencies, none of the 18 constituencies in the Volta region have been abandoned by the NDC. So they can continue to bash people. What happened in Northtown, for example, was a situation where they bashed people from Esojaman and other adjoining constituencies and then brought them in to deceive those who are watching that they have mobilized some crowd. And then suddenly we are hearing now that, and this is the first time we are hearing this, Dr. Bawumia announced that Samira Bawumia is from Northtown. We are hearing this for the first time. But for this campaign season, we never knew that she is from Northtown. We are hearing for the first time that she is from Japan Zongo. So they are engaging all kinds of very, very ridiculous claims. They are making all kinds of bizarre projections, 20%, 30%, some of them even say 40%. But we know that the actual result is what will be declared after December 7th. And the work we are putting in, campaigning like we have never, ever done, that is what is going to produce the results. And you see, I would have thought that when they come to the Volta region, they will have been able to show that the people of Volta region, we promise you a stadium. This is it. We are coming to commission it. Nothing of that sort. People of Volta region, we promise that we will complete the Eastern Corridor Road, which President Mahama started. They haven't done that. People of Volta region, these are your Agenda 111 hospitals, which we promised you. So these are the hospitals. Nothing to show. People of Volta region, these are your share of the $1 million per constituency, or the one district, one factory. To the contrary, factories have been collapsing under their watch. If you come to my constituency, Aveime rice has collapsed. This was a very vibrant rice producing factory. The workforce was over 800. Everybody has been laid off. You go to Japan Textiles, also in my constituency, it has collapsed under their watch. These are factories we supported. I remember President Mahama consistently giving them all the support they need, cash injection, making sure that they have all the favorable environment to thrive. Today, the people who said they are coming to do industrialization to make sure that we have additional factories in every constituency, they could not even maintain the factories they came to meet. So it's not about just empty talk. Look, the people of the Volta region know that the only time they had a university was under the NDC. And God bless Professor Mills for the vision. He came up with the idea that every region in Ghana should have a public university. And his successor, the ever faithful and diligent President Mahama, continued with the vision of Professor Mills and commissioned it in 2012. Now, as we speak, the Volta region has the University of Health and Allied Sciences. And if you read the 2024 manifesto, we are talking about expanding the university to have satellite campuses across the region, from Hohoi to Northtown to Keta to Anglo, so that we expand the space, because it's a niche university. We need more public health practitioners, we need more doctors, we need more epidemiologists, and there's no university in the country that has that kind of, competitive advantage, that specialization which you has. The people of the Volta region know that the only time that they saw a massive expansion in secondary education was when the NDC was in power. The E-blocks all over. The Volta region had 11 completed E-blocks across the length and breadth of the Volta region. The people of the Volta region know that the only time they received serious attention, so far as the Eastern Corridor Road is concerned, all the way to the Dodi Papaso enclave, was under the NDC. If you look at what the Volta region has benefited under the potable water distribution, rural electrification, it's been massive, massive. Look, my constituency alone, when I was coming in as a member of parliament, electricity coverage in Northtown was below 70%, just around 63%. Now, as we speak, it's hovering around 95%. There's just a few of the island communities, they're very, very difficult to reach areas. I mean, only the NDC can do that, and only the NDC has done that for the Volta region. So, if you look at our track record, including the whole airport, for the first time, the Volta region getting an airport never happened. Never. I mean, many people didn't even think that they will be seeing an airport in their lifetime in this region. We have it, thanks to President Mahama. Then you read our 2024 manifesto, and you see that the Volta region is so special to President Mahama and the NDC. He is saying that in his first 120 days, the neglect that we have suffered since the man-made disaster, the spillage by the VRA from the Akosogbo and Pond dams, which has totally destroyed lives and livelihoods. As I speak to you, more than a year, there are over 3,000 people still living in tents. Will you believe that? More than a year. It is only the NDC manifesto that addresses this issue, where President Mahama is saying that in his first 120 days, he will ensure that the processes to compensate and resettle these spillage victims is commenced in earnest. You don't find that in the MPP manifesto. The MPP has not apologized to us for the neglect And for adding insult to injury, when President Akufo-Addo came here and told us that we don't vote for the MPP, if it was about how we vote, he won't come here. I mean, such an insult, such insensitivity, such inhumanity, you know. So this party will be punished. The people of the Volta region are rather waiting to punish the MPP for what they have done to us, the destruction they have caused, the devastation they have caused, the total dehumanizing treatment that they have subjected people who have done no wrong, who do not deserve this kind of treatment. So you wait and see what will happen on December 7th. These vast crowds from outside the region that they are using to deceive people who don't know what's going on the ground. Just wait, my brother. You will see on December 7th the real situation. Are you aware, Senator, that if you look at the MPP primaries, you analyze the MPP primaries, are you aware that Dr. Bawumia lost in the Volta region? That was a vote of no confidence. It was Kennedy Ejapon who won. And when you talk to a lot of the MPP delegates here, they say that the MPP has neglected the Volta region. The MPP has been unfair to the Volta region. And that is why they punished Dr. Bawumia in the primaries. Because Bawumia and Akufo-Addo are the same. A vote for Bawumia is a third term for Akufo-Addo. That is why Bawumia lost miserably in the Volta region. So how can somebody who his own party members have rejected, they voted massively against him? It was Kennedy Ejapon who won in the Volta region. How can this person suddenly claim that all of a sudden the Volta region is behind him and is going to be voting massively for him when he couldn't even win in his own primaries? His own MPP delegates are totally livid. They are so upset about the neglect, the cruelty, the sheer wickedness that the people of the Volta region have been subjected to by the MPP. So, Sana, you wait and see.
Okay. A few things. No, first, let me move on to your current issue. You are one of 3 MPs who are pushing a private members bill for the repeal of LI 2462. That's the story that's making the rounds. Are you part of that process?
Yes, that is an accurate reportage. 3 of us, on behalf of the caucus, have decided that there is the need to show urgency. Parliament cannot abdicate. We face an existential crisis. As we speak, all our rivers except the Volta River, where I am now, all of those rivers are gone. As chair of the Assurances Committee, I led committee members. We went around the country to collect samples because we wanted to see things for ourselves. And we were so traumatized at what we saw. And we brought those contaminated samples to our hearings. Everybody saw them. So there is the need for urgency. We must stop the mass murder which these illegal miners who are really having a field day. President Akufo-Addo put his presidency on the line. It turned out that it was just as usual, scamming the country. Empty political talk. No fidelity, no truth, no respect for the people. Just tell the people what they want to hear and then encourage your party folks, the Wuntumis and the Isaka Saudu Isakas and all these parliamentary candidates, regional ministers, and we've seen them, DCs. I've published a list. We followed one of my exposés. DCs who have gone for licenses and who are neck deep in this whole Galamsey menace. So, considering the fact that 2 weeks since Parliament was reconvened, the assurances that government made to organize labor, we thought that the first day we went to Parliament, this repeal of LI 2462 will be laid. It has not been laid. as we speak. And as conscious members of parliament, determined not to betray the Ghanaian people, to let the people down, we are not just going to sit aloof and wait for this government that has no commitment in resolving the crisis. They only pretended to want to act again after civil society, organized labor threatened mass strikes and said that they were not going to accept this anchor. And so they had to pretend that they were solving the problem. So we are saying that we will no longer wait for government. We have initiated a process. This has been duly submitted. It's been acknowledged by the Right Honorable Speaker, and we are going through the motions. If at any point in time our colleagues on the other side, the majority decides that they will at least wake up from their slumber and put in some modicum of effort to save lives, to save our environment, to stop the degradation, and they decide to join hands with us, why not? We are willing to work together on this matter, but we need to take steps. I mean, we cannot just sit aloof and keep waiting for a government that says, I'm bringing it, but it's never arriving. Even if the lands minister or the environment minister or whoever is now acting as secretary to the president decided to walk from Flagstaff House to Parliament, where we are meeting now, the conference center, even if they were walking, slow walk, a tortoise walk, they should have arrived with that repeal long ago. So we have decided to act because we are not seeing any commitment on the part of government.
Because if government does that, I'm guessing that would have been a faster process if it was led by government.
Why will it be a faster process?
Because that would have been a much more simpler and straightforward. Because now you have to do a private member's bill.
Well, I get you in terms of, if we were just going for an outright repeal, yes, you have a point there. But remember that this process can also be expedited. And considering the fact that there is just no time, forests are going. I mean, remember that 2462, this LI, allows for mining in forest reserves and other, ecological heritage sites, places that we should just conserve and not destroy, including Ramsar sites and places of immense ecological value. All those places, the president can grant permission that it should be used as a mining enclave. So we are determined to expedite the process, and I do hope that we will not face any impediments. But you see, the way to look at it, Senna, is that we've been waiting for 2 weeks. If we had known that they will not be sincere, we could even have started this on day one, and we will have made progress. What do you prefer? We keep waiting only to find out by December 7 that we have been deceived again, just like when the president said, I'm putting my presidency on the line, and nothing happened. So it is better. Yes, you are concerned about what will be faster, but waiting and waiting and waiting cannot be the option. That certainly is not a fast option. So we are deciding to abridge time by acting.
And I'm wondering what stage of the process you are at.
Oh, very early days yet. So we have informed the Right Honorable Speaker. We have presented it to the legal department, and then the legal department is sending copies to the Environment Committee. We are waiting for the Environment Committee to invite us to make a presentation before them. So we've activated the early processes, and at least we have the acknowledgement. And so we are waiting now to commence the engagement with the Environment Committee. Then it will be brought to the plenary for the whole House to have a say.
And considering the work you have been doing in terms of the exposés on who owns what, the company that's moving to the forest, who owns them and everything, I guess this must be very important to you.
Absolutely, because the exposés show that a lot of licenses are still being issued. The last time I noticed that there's one individual who has been given over 100 licenses, and he's another Kusibwaching character. He has a passport which says that he's Isaka Awudu. Then he has a driving license which says he's Awudu Isaka, which allows him to then get 2 different things, which he has used. And, interestingly, on October 10th, the day the president was meeting organized labor, they were busily issuing fresh licenses to that guy. All the 11 licenses they issued on that day went to the same guy with different companies. He thought that we wouldn't know, we won't lift the veil and know who the owners are and who these things belong to. So the same guy who has over 100 licenses issued over the last year.
Over 100?
Over 100, yes. And they are still issuing like there's no tomorrow. He got 11 one day. Then that's in October. In September, he had another 23. And then if you add the previous, from the beginning of the year, he's been giving over 100. So when organized labor, everybody is saying that, look, we are in a crisis. Stop issuing licenses. They won't stop. And how come these licenses are all going to the same person, the same cabal? And you look at the location, it includes forests. Forest covers are being affected. So we cannot wait any longer. We must repeal this LI, and we must make sure that what is left of our forests is protected, and then begin the effort of reclaiming and restoring the river bodies. So if you look at the work we have done, if you look at how this government has issued more licenses than any government in history, you know that when we expose them based on data from their own website, the Ghana Mining Repository, which is manned by the Minerals Commission, they put their data there, their own. When we exposed them, did the analysis, and it was clear that they have issued over 1,600 licenses more than the previous government. They then came up with some numbers trying to distort, saying that President Mahama had issued more licenses than President Akufo-Addo. When they appeared before us, the Assurances Committee, we asked them for a breakdown. Will you believe we gave them a deadline of 14th October? We are still waiting. They have not been able to produce the breakdown. And
from the Minerals Commission?
From the Minerals Commission. And some of your colleagues in the media just swallowed hook, line, and sinker what they gave them, one A4 sheet, a summary on one page. We just had numbers. Oh, President Muhammad, 1,400. President Akufo-Addo, 1,014. So President Muhammad has issued more without any breakdown. Meanwhile, when you go on the mining repository, it has all the breakdown, the details. You see the license code, you see the company, you see where the concession is, the location, you see the application date, you see the duration. Is it a 5-year mining license? Is it 30 years? It's all there. Meanwhile, this cooked, concocted afterthought did not have any breakdown. And yet some of your colleagues in the media swallowed it hook, line, sinker. They were not even ashamed. You have been given just an A4 sheet, just numbers, no breakdown, no companies, no concessions, no locations. And then you want to accept that, consider that more credible than what is on the Minerals Commission's own website, which has all of these details. I mean, it's so shocking. And you see, sometimes it's even frustrating. What do people want? Do they want the truth? Do they want to encourage MPs and patriots who are working hard to expose the bad guys and to save our country so that all of us can have a quality of life? Or they just want to continue to align with the bad guys, the mass murderers, who are out there killing all of us? It becomes very, very frustrating. Instead of the Minerals Commission to be exposed that, look, you cannot bring this one-page summary, which means nothing, which does not align with your own data on your own website. We are not going to accept that. That if you want us to accept it, then let's have the breakdown. And that is what Parliament has done. And will you believe that since 14th October, today is 24th, 10 days after, they have missed the deadline. They have not been able to produce that breakdown. And yet some of your colleagues in the media, and I commend Radio Gold for not falling for that. I saw some media houses I hitherto respected do infographics, do a whole show and a video production, and they were circulating it all over the place that, oh, this is the Minerals Commission data. President Mahama issued more licenses. Just an A4 sheet. And you should have seen how the Minerals Commission CEO was embarrassed in Parliament when he thought that Parliament will accept that one-pager concoction without any breakdown, no locations, nothing meaningful. And he thought that the House of Records was going to, buy that hogwash. So we are still waiting for them. We are going to send the Minerals Commission a reminder today that they ought to respect Parliament, respect the Ghanaian people. We are waiting for that breakdown. If they do not produce a breakdown, we will continue to work with the data that is available on the Mineral Commission's website, which shows clearly that President Akufo-Addo has been totally reckless, mindlessly reckless in the issuance of licenses. And we insist that they must stop issuing fresh licenses. We've had enough of all these Awudu Isaka licenses. We've had enough. It has to stop.
So Awudu Isaka alone has over 100 licenses to mine.
Over 100 licenses, yeah. You have to go and look for him.
But okay, so yes, and that's where I was coming to, because typically you are able to, after digging, tell exactly the face behind the name. You call him a mysterious character, so which means that you still don't know who he is.
Oh, in terms of photos, and I've intercepted the national IDs that he's been using, the passports, the driving license. He actually renewed his driving license just 2 weeks ago. I've intercepted all of that. So I was going to publish that sometime next week. But as usual, you are taking the wind out of my sails. So yes, we've been able to smoke him out. I can confirm to you that we've smoked him out.
Okay. So you will publish his face soon, who he is?
Oh, definitely. We must know him. And all of those who are collaborating with him to create this mess will name and shame for God and country.
I see. In the meantime, are you ready to return to Parliament? Because your colleagues have initiated a recall of Parliament.
You see, the Ghanaian people expect political leadership to rise up to their felt needs, to address the things that matter to them. Look, as we speak, see what Galamsey is doing to our environment. Parliament ought to be stopping this destruction, this mass murder going on. Why is it that as we speak, we are the only country paying a COVID levy? Why? Why are we still paying e-levy? Why are we paying the emissions tax? These are the things that the Ghanaian people expect us to work on, to bring relief Look, the Speaker's ruling on Article 97, 1G and H is very clear and consistent with precedent. When Professor Okwe delivered the same ruling, why was there no uproar? Where was the Supreme Court? You have a partisan Supreme Court that has decided to become an extension of the MPP headquarters. When you have political apparatchiks, foot soldiers, like Gaiwu, who was the MPP parliamentary candidate in Ho, who we all know very well in the Volta region. We saw his posters, and we saw that his abysmal, uninspiring campaign is still fresh in our minds. How can you appoint such a person as a judge, and then he is called to duty, that this is why we appointed you, to come and engage in this partisan desecration? How do you expect anybody to have any respect for such judgments? And you have read the very embarrassing critique of that judgment. They must all be ashamed for what they have done. So look, the continuous Takashi by the MPP MPs will go nowhere. So look, even this business of recall, so you activate the constitutional provision, you say that you are recalling Parliament. Now, the Speaker recalls the House. The Speaker insists that 4 MPs are no longer MPs. Their seats have been declared vacant. Then we in the NDC also decide strategically that we are not attending the proceedings because you are disrespecting our Speaker and you are engaged in naked hypocrisy and unprincipled politics. You aligned with Professor Okwe, respected Professor Okwe's decision, same ruling, and yet you don't want to accord Speaker Bagbin the respect that you accorded Professor Okwe, and you are inviting another arm of government to dictate to an independent arm of government. So if on that principle we also decide to stay away, you know what that means? They cannot meet the threshold under Article 104 of the Constitution. Article 104.1 is very clear. To take a decision, half of members must be present. The Speaker is going to insist that 4 of your 4 are out, so you don't have 138. You don't have the half to take a decision because NDC MPs have boycotted. So what then have you achieved? This recall will mean nothing. You just have wasted taxpayers' money. So, say there's no quorum to take a decision. Article 104 has not been met. So everybody go home. The House is dissolved again. It's adjourned sine die. So how many times are they going to engage in that recall? So doesn't it dawn on Afenyo Markin and colleagues that the only way forward is for maturity, adults in the room, to sit up and say of gymnastics. Let's hypocrisy. Let us respect the Speaker's decision and let us come together and work as a parliament to resolve the germane issues, the matters that are of concern to Ghanaians. Let us work on those matters. That's the only way forward. But if you engage in all of this Takashi politics, then we are also going to stand up to you. We have every right to fight, especially when we are fighting for right. We are fighting to make sure that the laws are respected, that the Speaker's ruling, which is consistent with precedent. And Parliament works largely on 3 principles: the Constitution, the standing orders, and then the conventions that are established by previous speakers. That is what guides, that's what undergirds decisions in Parliament. Those are our pillars, the 3 cardinal pillars: Constitution, standing orders, precedent, the convention. So the Speaker has complied, has been very consistent, and you don't want to respect it. We all came along with Professor Okwe's decision. How come with Speaker Bagbin's decision? And we all know, I bet you, Senator, you know, in your heart of hearts, that if this decision by Speaker Bagbin did not affect their majority status, if we didn't have a hung parliament where this affects them, they are no longer majority. Or if the MPs who have defaulted, who are clearly in violation of the Constitution, if they were all on the NDC side, I bet you Afenyo Makin and this Supreme Court would have been hailing Speaker Bagbin. This is the same Speaker who declared the majority because the independent MP, Honorable Isiama, said he was going to work with the MPP. I recall many Ghanaians, including the respected Comrade Kwesi Pratt, who disagreed with Speaker Bagbin, but the MPP hailed Speaker Bagbin. The same person who declared you majority, you hailed him when he declared you majority. Now he says that based on the conduct of your own MPs, you are minority. And indeed, he has been fair. There's one, as God will have it, is not only MPP MPs. This also affects an NDC MP, Honorable Aka. So Speaker Bagbin has not glossed over that. He's saying that on both sides, one on NDC side, three on the MPP side, you are all affected. The same speaker you hailed, who declared you majority, that one you liked it. You praised him to the high heavens. Now that he has declared you minority, based on the same constitution, you say you won't accept it. You are going to the Supreme Court. And you cry to the Supreme Court, and of course, your partisan colleagues, people who rather wanted to be in Parliament, who were contesting as parliamentary candidates, are happy to grant you all kinds of, even release that you didn't ask for, And in the process, we are making mockery of our democracy. We are destroying our institutions, and we are mutilating our constitution. You see, let's be thinking about the country we are building, about nationhood, and about the future. How will people looking back at this 8th Parliament, at this era, what would they remember us for? What would they remember President Akufo-Addo, who has failed from day one? Look, I have always said that looking at the results from 2020, what President Akufo-Addo should have done, if I were to be in his shoes, what I would have done is that, look, it's clear the Ghanaian people have voted for power sharing. Nobody has a majority in Parliament. I will have called the opposition leader. Oh, my brother, President Mahama, let's sit down. The speakership. Who are you presenting? How many do you want? There are 3 positions. Let's reach an agreement. And this is who I want. You to bring yours. And then there would have been no need for the chaos that we saw on January 6, 2021. There will have been no need for that chaos. All of that chaos, the military came in. And at that time, there was no president, no vice president, no speaker of parliament. It was so easy for any of those soldiers to just take over. We escaped a coup by a whimper, narrowly, just because of immaturity, of petty politics, of people who have no business being in leadership. President Akufo-Addo has shown that he had no business. Look, and that is what is continuing. All of this Takashi, all of this, we will go to Supreme Court, we'll go and bastardize the court. Listen to the respected Justice Atuguba. Justice Atuguba says that the Supreme Court should not have been invited into this mess in the first place. And you see, he's right. In the process, the Supreme Court has now been painted with politics. And their judgment is being shredded into pieces all over the world. They have disgraced themselves. And you see, when would the distraction stop? When will this undermine of our democratic institutions stop? Just because President Akufo-Addo is refusing to accept that, look, you didn't win the parliamentary elections. Even if you manage to do whatever to get your so-called presidential victory, it behoves on you to show leadership, to show maturity, and to sit down with all sides so that we can build consensus. That's the way to go. Look, do you know, Sana, in India, I admire how they select their electoral commissioners. They invite the president, the opposition leader, and then the chief justice. And then they look at the names. They ask people to apply. Look at people who are credible, who are balanced, who have not shown that they are patrons of political parties like we have here, known MPP communicators. That's Sunyane guy, that party full soldier, Apiahene, who's been made an electoral commissioner. You won't have that in India. Then they select. So we should be moving towards things like that, where you build consensus, everybody sits around the table. Then you talk through our challenges intelligently, and then you set a precedent. Look, it is very possible that the way Ghanaians are voting now, that we may have a hung parliament again. We may even have a party that will win presidential, but will be in an extreme minority in parliament. If Ghanaians vote that way, is this the attitude we are going to be demonstrating? Then that will be the end of our democracy. Because as it is now, parliament can't sit, because this Takashi record they are doing, it won't work. Because if you don't get NDC MPs in the chamber, you won't have the quorum to take a decision under Article 104. So what have you achieved? How many times are you going to do a Takashi record? Because of the record, all you need is 1/3 of MPs. But that is not the number you need to take a decision. So we need maturity. We need love for country. We need patriots. We need statesmen. People who will look beyond their party headquarters and just, if you like, giving their base some false hopes. This is the time for real, mature leadership. And it's what this country is lacking. And President Akufo-Addo, who is the leader, it's because, look, you must present your budget in a few days. It is you who has government business. You are still going all over the place, begging for all kinds of assistance, which has to be ratified by Parliament. You have everything to lose. And yet, you are refusing to be mature, to be conciliatory, and to invite people to the table. It's incredible. It's incredible. How did Ghana get this reckless leader? He thrives in chaos. The more confusion, the better for him. So he's asked them to go and activate recall. I mean, what does that mean? What is that going to achieve for you? Recall of Parliament. You think that some of us are going to sit in Parliament to give you a quorum when you are disrespecting our speaker? You think that's going to happen? I mean, let's get serious.
Well, let me conclude then by reading to you a story from the Chronicle newspaper today. Paragraph 3 of that story. The story is headline, MPP blows cover of NDC secret plans. Paragraph 4, I believe, says, quoting from portions of the said document titled Winning 2024 and Beyond, a comprehensive NDC strategy, Richard Ahiagba indicated that the NDC had a plan to frustrate the government by exploiting parliamentary dynamics with Speaker Bagbin as an ally to block key government policies and revenue measures. That you are operating by a playbook. That is the allegation they are making. And they have that playbook. And part of that plan is what you are executing in Parliament. That was from a press conference held by Mr. Richard Ahiagba yesterday. How do you respond to that?
So ridiculous. And he says exactly what?
He has in his possession a document he says is called Winning 2024 and Beyond, a comprehensive NDC strategy. And that is the playbook that is determining your current strategy. And that strategy is to frustrate whatever they do in Parliament. And what is happening in Parliament is part of that playbook.
So we ask the MPs to go and contest as independent MPs, and the independent MP to switch to MPP. We asked them to do that, and how much did we pay them to do that? You know, they really give the NDC so much credit. And it's good. It's good when your opponents, think that you can even change a man into a woman. And Richard Ahiagba believes these things and goes to hold a press conference that the Honorable Isiama, the second Deputy Speaker, he is now part of our playbook. He takes instructions from us. And I hear that I'm supposed to be one of the authors of that strategy. And the Honorable Isiama listens to my instructions. We direct them that abandon your party, go and contest as independent. And then we also told the now minority chief whip, Anodompre, that he should take them off their platform when they file. And we are the ones who are preventing Akufo-Addo from showing maturity, from reaching out to the opposition leader, President Mahama, and seeking rapprochement, as any mature, wise statesman will have done. We are the ones preventing all of this from happening. Wow. Clearly, these guys have no business being in the leadership of our country. We should never have put all our resources in their care. They have absolutely no business remaining at the Flagstaff House. And the earlier we boot them out of office, the better. Because with that press conference and the things they are saying, they are now blaming us for their gross negligence, their gross ineptitude, their total confusion and disarray that they find themselves in as a party. They are blaming us for that. It's incredible. You just can't believe. The Honorable Cynthia Morrison, for example, who has said that she, even if it means war, even if it means putting her life on the line, to run as independent and teach the MPP a lesson, because the MPP has not been fair to her. We are orchestrating all of that. We have told Cynthia Morrison to declare war against the MPP. This is total hogwash, and Senna, I think we should use the airtime for more important things.
Including the fact that one of your constituents is Second Lady Samira Bawumia. I'm surprised you had problems, because if he comes from Joapo, you should have had Mr. Ibrahim Mahama brought some tracks to your constituency. You should have like 30 of those tracks from the Second Lady.
Can you imagine, Sana? I mean, if we had known all these years that we had such an eminent, that Northtown has produced a Second Lady, we would have gone to beg her to come to our aid. And all these years, people are living in tents. Their houses have been demolished by the spillage. She didn't know. She couldn't come and help her fellow constituents. Incredible, Senna. Incredible. I mean, what people will say for power. Oh, my goodness.
Thanks for making time to speak to us. Thanks for making time to speak to us. We're
always welcome, Senna. Yeah. Always welcome.
Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for Northtown, joining us this morning for a conversation. He's one of 3 MPs who have essentially, like he said, these are early stages of the process, but we can't wait. In fact, we can't wait when it comes to 2462. That airline that allows access to our forest reserves. Our forest reserves are very, very important for the sustenance of the life within this. Within our territory, within Ghana. We need those forest reserves. We need those water bodies to thrive. And that's why they have started a private members bill, 3 of them, and that is to repeal 2462. So nobody is allowed to enter our forest without a permit. I don't know what else they will put there, and I wish they will put there that mining in forest reserves is forbidden. Nobody can give you access to forest reserves to mine. I think that is an important part of the kind of legislation we must have going forward. We can't mine everything. Do we have to mine everything that we have under our soil? Why? Why do we have to? Everything we have? Anyway. SM.
True.
You know the most interesting part of what Richard... You know the most interesting part of what Richard Ahiagba said? Quote, it is not fake. It is a true document. The NDC has been working with it since 7 January 8, 2021. You see, when you get to the point where you have to shout, it is not fake. It is a true document. Then it is a fake.
Yes. NDC for actual book. Now, when people form the book in the moon, same way,
yes. Now they are saying that even the NDC, they actually scripted what is happening in Parliament. So they convinced the Siama to go and join the MPP again. They convinced the Morrison.
So co-independent.
And then
go independent. Nina, Troy. And I'm convinced you of someone going independent.
Yes. And this is fantastic.
It's funny how
first they wrote how you run the government.
Yes.
That's what you said. Then the Badia book, it was written by the NDC. So the NDC scripted how you run the government. And now that you are leaving power to, they are scripting how your people behave in the lead up to. Oh.
And let me tell you about Kubi. Say, IMF for buying coin a NDC for an so I'm call IMF, I'm call IMF. I feel call IMF you.
Oh boy. How can you be saying? You see, this entire government. Sometimes when people open their mouth, you ask themselves whether they. You see, Mr. Hayagba, I was wondering if he read through the statement well and thought about how it will sound to right-thinking people like that. Like somebody will listen to you, how they will think. Because for you to say, he said, go to IMF.
IMF. Sound no more agenda.
But what do you expect? What do you expect? If politics.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.